Right, good afternoon, everyone. It's 4:30. We are back here again for the last segment, which is our live chat with our students. Right, so with us, we have 7 students, and their names are over here. Let me quickly uh, give you a quick overview. Then after that, we'll be asking which one of them to do a quick sharing, and then you can have our question and answers. Right, we have quite a few students from year 6. We have Caleb, okay, Vina and Anina. They're from year 6. We have Papati from year 5, Rachel from year 4, James also from year 4, and Yitong, their youngest at year 3. So this will give a very good range of junior high and senior highs. What did they do? And enough experience for them to share, to give you a very good picture of what the school experience is about. Right. So let's get Caleb to share first.
Hi, um, my name is Caleb, and can everyone see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Okay, great. Okay, so hi everyone. I'm currently a year 6 student here in NUS High, and basically what I've been doing, I've taken honors in biology and chemistry and major in mathematics. So to share about some of the experiences that I've had in this school, so particularly the main 3 experiences that left a large impact on me was actually student leadership. So as you can see here, actually I was in Students' Council where I served as the junior vice president and the treasurer. And I believe that actually these experiences have left a deep impact in me because I constantly believe in giving back to the school, in giving back to the students. And this was actually one of the best platforms that I had that enabled me to give back to the lives of the students and to plan out initiatives and events and carry them out and to be able to see the students benefiting from it. And this was also one of the reasons why I joined orientation, because coming from a neighborhood primary school where I was actually the only P6 student that joined NUS High, it was actually a pretty scary and intimidating experience. But because of orientation, it made me really enjoy the experience that I had, and I really bonded with my classmates, and I wanted to help other students who had just stepped into this school experience that same experience as well, and not go through and not feel so awkward with their friends, and be able to um, enjoy their own school life here, which was why I joined orientation program as well. And I have served as the committee in charge of the year 2 committee, where we planned a 3-day 2-night camp, as well as for the year 4 orientation this year. So it has given me the platform to be able to serve and to think and to be able to try and still work around the different restrictions that we had this year, and to still plan for a meaningful orientation for the students. But beyond the non-academics, actually, I really enjoyed the different academic, especially the rigor that we had in this school. So as I have mentioned, I'm taking honors in bio and chemistry, and actually this semester I took NUS modules as well. And I really, really enjoy these programs as they allow me to further develop and find out more about my passion in bio and chemistry. And so, for example, as you can see at the bottom left picture, actually it is a screenshot of me and my friends taking part in the International Medicine Olympiad just last year, where actually because of the US time zone, so it was carried out from 12 to 6 a.m. But it was actually these experiences where I really, really found out more about my own passions, and I really enjoyed learning about so much of these experiences where I believe that not other schools can really provide us with. And so, last but not least, to end off, actually, I would like to end off with the kind of student life that we have here in school. So, because of our close knit, small class size and cohort sizes, it allows us to be really to know each other really well. So by the time we graduate, I'm sure most of us actually know everyone in the cohort by name. And it's because of these tiny little experiences where we get to bond with each other, where we get to know each other so much more, and to be able to share life with one another. I think it's a completely different experience from other schools. So, for example, me and my friends, we had study sessions, we went out on outings, we even begin to help one another in different areas of our lives. And this is something that I really enjoyed, and this is something that I will not exchange for in this school. Yeah, so that will conclude my sharing. Thank you.
Thank you, Caleb. Next, we'll get Anina to share. Yes, we can see your screen.
So, hi everybody. My name is Elena, and I'm a year 6 student, as you all know. So I'll just give like a really short introduction to some of the things that really shaped my NUS high school life. Yes. So like the first thing that I definitely have to mention is definitely chemistry Olympiad. I hope you can see the slide change. Yeah, and I started on my chemo journey since like I think year 2, and it's been 4 years now. And I think that like being a chemo student and really like going through all the lessons, even participating in competitions, it really helped me to stretch myself in the academic aspect of my NUS high school life. And it also it was like quite hard at some point in time, especially when we had to take like a 2-week break from class just to focus for studying for chemo competitions. And so yeah, it wasn't always very easy, but then I learned a lot about myself, like what I'm good at, what I like and what I don't like throughout my chemo journey. And so it's definitely not an understatement to say that chemo is part of what defines my NUS high school life. Yes. And then the second thing that I would like to mention is NSC, National Science Challenge. So I'm sure a lot of you will be familiar with this now, especially since Lucas's father was on the parents panel just now. So for me, NSC was a place where I grew a lot, especially, yes, because before I joined the NSC team, I was actually like a very quiet student, and I didn't really like to speak up. But NSC really taught me how to, like give good scientific presentations. And I also formed really solid bonds with like the trainers, which are our seniors, and like the juniors who I trained. And also the culture of like just giving back to the school really inspired me, because for NSC, like after my year of NSC, then I would train the juniors for the future batches of NSC. So then like there's this culture of always giving back and helping your juniors out, which I really like. And last but not least is Fibonacci House. So I've been a rep in FIBO for as long as I can remember. I think I joined at the start of year 2. Yeah, so it's been 5 years now. And it's also another defining experience in NUS High, because it really shaped like the way I do things and see things, from everything from like planning to executing events. Because once again, I was really quiet in the lower years, but then FIBO really forced me to like speak up and share my ideas with these like-minded individuals who are very accepting, and really created an environment that I felt was safe to just share my thoughts freely. And it also made me feel empowered in a way, because as a division rep in-house, you get to plan events for your like level mates or even your schoolmates. So you really get the opportunity to go and learn what the school community really likes and plan activities that actually caters to their needs. So I think this whole process really makes you learn a lot more about the school environment and the type of people that you're surrounded by. Yes, so I will not elaborate more and yes, keep it short. Thank you.
Thank you, Alina. Next, we'll get James to share. James, can share your screen?
Yep. Can you see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Yeah, thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is James Huang, and I'm a Year 4 student. I'm delighted to be able to share some of the many experiences I have had as an NUS high school student. This year, I was given the opportunity to be part of our National Science Challenge team, a competition broadcasted on national television that tested the participants' knowledge and presentation skills. This not only provided me and the rest of the team with a priceless opportunity to push our abilities to our limits, but also gave us a platform to share our passions with science for others. With continued support from teachers and fellow classmates, we were ultimately able to clinch the grand prize while overcoming the challenges from the other teams in the competition. NUS High has also been able to provide numerous research funding programs. Of these, one of the more recent one is the A-Star Research Exposure Program. Although this program was carried out via home-based learning due to the COVID-19 pandemic, it was still extremely fruitful despite the unfortunate circumstances. Throughout this program, I was able to glean new insights into the planning and designing of research experiments, as well as understand the pressing issues of research in our society. I feel that such knowledge has indeed proven useful in the many other research opportunities put forth by NUS High, which I have also embarked on. There are also many non-academic activities that we can take part in. Take, for instance, the numerous exchange programs that our school hosts. I was able to be a member of one such program as part of our third language curriculum. I feel that these exchange programs not only gave us the chance to interact with others from different cultures, but also inspire and inculcate important values such as wonderment and service within us as we work on different projects, getting new and diverse perspective of problems in our society and community. Now, I would like to take some time to elaborate on the NUS high school culture. During my years at NUS High, I found that level mates, seniors, alumni, and juniors were fun-loving and helpful people who were always willing to help each other. I feel that a very pertinent point that truly separates NUS High from other schools is the students' proactiveness and spontaneity. Through the setting up of student-initiated interest groups, flash mobs during school events, and always striving to maximize the potential of every school activity, it's truly apparent that this is a feature that makes NUS High unique. In addition, with many different platforms and opportunities for interaction between and within cohorts, NUS High becomes a close-knit family. Such platforms include, but are not limited to, CCAs, house, interest groups, numerous assembly programs throughout the year, and many more. With that, it's been a pleasure and thank you for listening to my sharing.
Well, thank you, James. Next, we will have Yitong, our Year 3 student, to share her screen. Yeah, Yitong, you can unmute yourself.
Hi, you can see my screen, right?
Yes, we can, and we can hear you too.
Okay. So, hi everyone, I'm Yutong from Year 3, and I hope you've been having a nice open house so far. I'm also here to share about the 3 ways that NUS High has impacted me. So, I just want to start from something small from the academic curriculum because it's something you'll definitely experience if you come to our school. So, here's a picture of my Year 3 chemistry assignment, where we investigated the oil absorbency of different materials. Every year in chemistry, there's actually a module assignment where you get to design your experiment, then carry it out and write a report on it. I believe that lesson time shouldn't be entirely spent in the classroom, and NUS High already provides a lot of lab sessions. But then one step further than that, lab sessions shouldn't just be like following the instructions written on paper. So this was a good opportunity for us to experience the true process of scientific investigation. And there are also similar more self-directed lab sessions in other sciences like bio and physics. Next, a crystal growing competition that I participated in Year 2. This picture in the center actually shows the 3 big crystals that we managed to grow, and this on the right is a prop that we made to showcase together with our crystal. This was part of the chemistry interest group Catalyzer, and it was actually a very enjoyable experience for me because we had to research different crystal growing methods on our own, even though this was something that's like completely out of our school curriculum. And it sparked a new interest in chemistry and made it a subject that I'll do research into, like even in my own time. It took a lot of trial and error and a lot of time to make sure that our crystals grow to be clear and don't just dissolve back into solution. So the competition was unfortunately eventually cancelled because of COVID, but I still found it a very enriching experience. Lastly, something to prove to you that our students aren't just math and science nerds. So at the start of every year, we actually have usually it's 3 to 4 day orientation program entirely planned and prepared by students. So student volunteers will come back during the holidays to do script writing and acting, activity planning, dance choreographing, making the decor, and so on. This picture on the left is the finale float from orientation 2020, and this on the right is the Fleming House float from 2021 that I actually had a part in making. So this period during December holidays is probably my favorite time of the year because you can see all types of student leaders just completely self-directed, coming back to school to work together towards this huge event. And this brings me to my favorite aspect of students at NUS High, which is that we have a very strong culture of student leadership. For example, Student Council will organize the National Day program, subject interest groups organize like outreach workshops, and the house committees organize house meets. Even if you don't belong to a leadership board, you can still sign up for orientation planning team. So a lot of the programs in this school are actually for students by students. And I think this really spices up school life for me. That's all I have to share. And I hope you consider coming to our school. Thank you.
yourself and share your screen, Vina.
I'm trying to. Just a minute, sorry.
No problem.
Hi, can everyone see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Yay, great, thank you. Okay, so hi, I'm Vinamra from year 6, but most people can't pronounce my name, so I just go by Vin. So, I mean, for me, NUS High has been an extremely enriching experience, and like to begin with, I'd like to first talk about like my OSAP that I took to XLab in Germany in 2019. So this was pre-COVID, and it makes all the difference because I mean, the OSAP honestly taught me independence and the ability to live together with others, because OSAP was the perfect blend and mix of not simply academic learning experience and knowledge, but also like non-academic learning experience, because it taught me everything from physics to chemistry, biology, and even neurobiology. And a lot of these topics and experiments that we carried out are simply learned in theory in upper years in NUS High, or in some cases they're not even touched upon. So actually this was a really eye-opening experience for me, because I really got to learn a lot of different things, such as the electrode potentials in, say, a grasshopper's eye, or creating a cloud chamber, or physically creating a level 3 laser. So these are really enriching experiences for me. A lot of students have covered this, so I feel that I might almost be repeating myself. But an extremely enriching experience for me was also the National Science Challenge, because through NSC, I was part of the same team as Elena in NSC. And NSC was really fun for me because through this, I formed a lot of bonds, and the entire NSC team from years and years and years, all the way from say 2015 to even now, is like a sort of family. And NSC really taught me some extremely important things, which is the subtleties of the various parts of life and the various parts of science, because it's not simply enough to know the theory, but also it really teaches you the true meaning of the mastery of science, about whether you exactly fully know from the fundamentals all the way up to the deepest parts of the science, about how well you know what you know, as well as the ability to present that effectively and communicate effectively with both an audience that is fully aware of what you're talking about, as well as a lay audience who may not be so familiar with exactly what you're talking about. So it teaches you the perfect blend of the scientific knowledge as well as presentation skills, which range anywhere from a proper physical, formal scientific presentation, and even one that tries to, in a rather happy-go-lucky, light-hearted manner, teach you what is going on. And lastly, for me, the last one would be Singapore Science and Engineering Fair, SSEF, because SSEF truly taught me the meaning of teamwork, because through our advanced research projects that we have in year 5, which is part of our ARP. So through ARP and SSEF, it teaches you not only how to actually go about doing your entire project and doing it effectively so you can see the end product at these fairs, but it also taught me how to effectively promote my project and speak persuasively to convince the judges of the value of my project and of what I have been doing. So it really teaches you many different forms of presentation, teaches you how to be effective with your work when you collaborate to actually come up with a proper engineering product or an actual report based on actual things. And it gave me the opportunity to realize my true passion, which is that like it makes you realize what you are truly interested in and what you are not. That is all from me. Thank you.
Thank you, Vin. Next, we'll get Parvati to share her screen.
Give me a moment.
Sure.
Are you able to see my slides?
Yes, we can.
Okay. Hello, I am Parvati. I'm a current year 5 student. I will be sharing with you 3 of my best experiences in NUS High and my favorite part of our student culture. I am from Sembawang Primary School, if any one of you is wondering. So if you're from Sembawang Primary School, hello. And yeah, so in year 3, I got to join the junior council. The experience that stands out to me the most in my council term is my contributions to Star Day. Star Day is basically Staff Appreciation Day, you know, Teachers' Day, but here we include all the staff that work in the school, including principals, admin staff, cleaners, etc. So when I was in year 3 in 2019, I got to act in a skit as the AI teacher, as you can see there. And in year 4, I took on the role of Star Day IC, where I led the team in planning an eventful Star Day in the middle of COVID. This was an interesting and a particularly difficult experience for me, and I learned a lot from my time as IC. This opportunity enabled me to appreciate our staff much more and also experience the difficulties of planning a school-wide event in the middle of the pandemic with minimal help from teachers. So I'm in year 5. This is my 5th year in the school. In year 5, you get to go one step ahead and choose honors modules. Honors modules are basically add-on modules you can take to learn more advanced concepts. So I personally took biology honors, and in here I learned more about evolution. So animals like sponges, jellyfish, sea stars, crabs, fishes, sharks, and so much more. So the pictures you see at the bottom of the slide were taken from just 2 months ago when we went for an intertidal walk at Pulau Hantu to observe animals at the coast. The walk brought everything we learned in books and slides to life, and even helped us learn firsthand the necessity and our impact and applications of such ecosystems. And just last year, I was invited to join this newly found program called Atlas, in which you are paired with a teacher mentor who will guide and advise you through the last 2 years to prepare you for college applications, like improving public speaking skills, interview skills, service, leadership, etc. So through that program, I got to go for community attachment, where I volunteered at Meet the People sessions and house visits with the MP. That was a very meaningful experience for me because I got to know the persisting problems in our society, and also which are usually not known, and also get a quick taste of what community service actually looks like. And a bit more about the NUS High School culture. The school believes very heavily on giving students as many opportunities for personal growth and self-exploration. So many events, initiatives for the school are planned and executed by students and student leaders with the guidance of teachers. For example, orientation is a major event with more than 200 students planning 3 to 4 days worth of activities and storylines for new year ones and other levels. Below you can see that it's a student leadership camp which was initiated this year, where a group of us planned this camp for year 4 to 6 leaders to strengthen their leadership skills. Interest groups are also a platform where like-minded people come together and explore their interests and also initiate activities for the schools to explore various topics of interest as well. A variety of such opportunities is open to all students, and they help to identify your own values, strengths, and weaknesses. And it is one of the major highlights of our school culture. Yeah, that's it. I'll pass my time to the next student. Thank you.
Thank you, Parvati. The next one will be Rachel.
Hi teachers, yeah, sorry, give me 1 second to share.
No problem.
Can my screen be seen?
Yes, you can.
Hi everyone, so I'm Rachel and I'm in year 4 this year. So today what I'll be sharing about is just the general culture in NUS High. So I think previously the students have shared, like Parvati and Yutong both brought up this term of like for students, by students for students, which I think just sums up the culture in NUS High very well. So I think we get to shape our own NUS High experience, like firstly through interest groups, which are quite a big thing in our school. So I want to share about NUShrooms, which is the environmental, like sustainability interest group in our school. So this was actually last year, and I was I'm very privileged to be part of the small group of students who actually
initiated this interest group. So it really started as just a group of students who were passionate about the environment, and we wanted to just spread awareness about sustainable movements and have awareness campaigns, etc. So I think by stemming from this interest, we actually got a lot of support from the school to be able to have awareness campaigns and to be able to recruit more like-minded students and like even reach out to the juniors. And I think in general, that was just a very pleasant experience. And I think it really bears testament to how the school really encourages this for students, by students culture. And then next, we also have MUN. Like, I think some of the parents previously chat about Model United Nations. So what I hear from my other friends at other schools is that in their schools, usually MUN is something that you sign up for by yourself, and there aren't really training sessions because it's not an official CCA or anything. But in NUS High, because of this culture that we have, I think there were a lot of training sessions done and initiated purely by our seniors, and they even got some of the alumni who say have gotten awards in MUNs to come back and train us. So I think that was in general really nice, and it really makes you feel like you're part of a community. And we also have our own MUN, SDYC, which is also student run and also with, of course, a lot of support from the school, which is a really nice thing to have. And I think being able to be part of organizing committees for so many events and even large-scale events like SDYC, where we have where we host delegates from other schools also, is just a really nice learning experience. And you really do get to experience a lot of things firsthand in terms of organization and leadership. So on NUS High culture in general, I think it's really nice. What I felt joining the school was that I was actually quite shocked at how uncompetitive it is. I think maybe because we don't have national exams, there's less pressure to be able to have to complete a certain curriculum by a certain amount of time. So we can learn at our own pace, and there's a lot of exploration beyond the curriculum that we're given. And I think because of this like lessened pressure, there's also a lot of passion and like genuine excitement about the things that we're learning, which I myself experience and also sense from my peers. I think the uncompetitive culture also manifests in like tutoring sessions from seniors, which some of the interest groups, like physics interest groups, before exams usually recruit some seniors to organize tutoring sessions for juniors, completely like self-initiated. And I think that's really nice. And then we also have things like study notes, which are like informal notes that we compile among ourselves for the level, and sometimes we also pass it on to the juniors if the curriculum is similar. So I think these are just a few of the things that we find ourselves doing. And I think that really just bears testament to how uncompetitive the school is. And there really is like a culture of collaboration. Yeah, so that's all I have for my sharing. Thank you.
Right, thank you, Rachel. Okay, so let me put to the students some questions from the parents and the students here. Hi students, can you kindly share what are the deciding factors to pick NUS High School over other IP schools? Can you recall what appeals to you, or was it your parents' decision to try NUS High School? Who want to go first?
I think I can go first.
Okay, Alina?
My reason is really, really short. So like the deciding factor was basically that there was no O or A levels. Yeah, that's basically it. Because like after studying 6 months of PSLE, I really didn't want to like study, like devote so much time to studying for national exams again. I guess you could say that I was kind of sick of for studying for standardized examinations. Yeah, so because of that, like, and NUS High is unique in that sense, right? So NUS High was like my top choice. Yes.
I see. Rachel, you want to add on? I saw that you're raising your hand.
Yeah, my reason is actually the same as Elena. I think the defining factor was not having national exams. So I think that really gives us, it really lessens the pressure a lot, because there isn't like the rat race kind of feel where you're competing with other schools, competing with the rest of Singapore to be able to like get a grade, and then you have to, yeah, there's a lot of competition, I feel, if you have to take the O and A levels.
Okay, which other students want to answer? Just raise your hand, then I will know. Yitong?
Hi.
Wait for the put Yitong on live.
I think my camera should work around now.
Yes.
Right?
Okay.
So like, I mean, the same as them. I also chose this school partly because of no national exams. But one more thing is that there's like a very low student to teacher ratio. So there's like a lot of teachers and not that many students. So we really get a lot more opportunities and attention from the teachers, which is really nice.
All right, thank you. James, do you have anything to say?
Yeah, I think to add on to what everyone has been saying, I think a very personal point that NUS High has provided me is the fact that we can really stretch ourselves to our limits. So, for example, NUS High provides the special opportunity to accelerate certain modules, and I feel that that is one of the more interesting features that other schools may not provide, and this is also one of the reasons why I chose NUS High.
Okay, that's great. Now let me move on because we only have about 14 minutes left. Time is very precious. Okay, second question. What are the challenges you have encountered so far during the transition from primary school, and if they could be good learning points for all of us here? We will start off with Yitong, right, because I think you're the youngest.
I would say some difficulty I experience is that the workload. So there's definitely a higher workload and more frequent tests and exams, but it's also kind of good because it taught me to like keep up to date with my work and not just cram for things at the last minute before the mid-year exams or the end of year exams. So yeah, so it's like good that in a way it taught me to be more responsible for my work and have some more self-discipline.
I see, good. Vin, you want to add anything on?
I mean, for me, the main difference was that primary school was simply a half-day thing. At 1, you can come back, you can go take a nap if you want. Meanwhile, in secondary school, from the word go, in year 1, your school is ending at 6. So, it can be quite tiring as the initial phase when you transition over. But I think what is really, really important is that it really gives you an opportunity for you to schedule yourself properly manage your time, because you know how much time you have in the day for the different things that you have, including lessons and this and that. So you really become a much more well-managed person. That's not to say that anyone is perfect. I think most of us at NUS High will probably say that we have pretty bad time management, and that's definitely the case for me, but it's still definitely better than what it was in primary school.
I see Rachel raised her hand. Let's pass the time to Rachel.
I think for me, the biggest
Yes, Rachel, on
difference.
now.
Sorry. Oh yeah, I think the biggest difference for me is in primary school, I think the teachers are very hands-on, as in they do rush you for project deadlines and things like that. But in NUS High, I think there's a lot of focus on self-directed learning. Like even in terms of the homework given, a lot of times it's up to you to keep. It's good in a way because you get to organize a lot of your own, like previously mentioned, you get to train your time management skills and things like that. So I think there's the culture of self-directed learning, which for some, if let's say I started off in primary school as a kid with like very little self-discipline, so I think it was very hard for me to motivate myself to do a lot of the work without the teachers chasing me. But I think over the years, it's definitely something that you realize is very useful. Like it's a very useful skill to learn, like just to instill in yourself the self-discipline and to be motivated to do your own learning.
Okay, Parvati, you want to add on?
Yeah, sure. So for me, I feel that I came out of primary school as like a perfectionist, high expectation on myself kind of kid. So when I went to secondary 1, I was year 1, I was like, oh no, I'm not getting A for all my tests. I'm not getting A for all my assignments. So I was like, I needed to learn how to lower my expectations, like go easy on myself a bit, because I mean, from the jump from primary school to NUS High syllabus is a big one, especially when you start with 3 sciences separately right at the beginning. So I guess you learn that on the way. Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to put this question to Caleb. These two are combine them. Okay. Without national exams, don't you feel insecure, as you may not, if your skill or talent is not enough into the market? And the second related question is opposite. Would you say that because there's not as much emphasis on major exams, the less competitive environment results in healthier relationships among classmates and peers?
Okay, thank you for the question. So for myself personally, I think that without the national exams, that I'm pretty sure actually most of the other students have actually also mentioned that yes, it is not as stressful, but yeah, so sorry, hold on, let me yeah, so personally I actually prefer that as I would not as compared to most of my other peers, they're actually all when they were going through the O and A levels, they would be busy cramming that few months right up leading to their O and A levels. But I think as what the other students have mentioned, that our school actually, the modular system is actually also more based on not just the semestral assessments, but also the continual assessments. Yeah, so because of that, I feel that it is more balanced as compared to studying just for one major exam. And although yes, it seems as if that we are not having the same qualifications as compared to others, but I think that our school diploma has actually already achieved a pretty high standard, and it's already pretty well known and well recognized as compared among the other qualifications as well. And I think that because of that, knowing that I graduate with my school's diploma is actually very reassuring that it is very well recognized.
Good.
Yes.
Good. I'm going to put this question to all the year 6 students. Okay, so because your peers will be now will be focusing on A-level preparation.
Yes.
So you don't have to do that. So what do you do with your time and your focus?
May I share first?
Yeah. Yes, Caleb.
Okay. So personally, for myself, I am very passionate about teaching, and I really believe I really would like to teach on, and to in future I would like to actually work with MOE to teach. So with the free up time that I have, actually right now I am teaching part-time. So I am working and I'm teaching many other students, and it actually really opened up my eyes to see that and I'm not just restricted by the view that I have in this school alone. But with the free up time, actually most of the other students as well, they're taking up other internships, they're taking up other opportunities that they would not otherwise have as compared to being in our school. So I found this very rewarding because I'm able to contribute not just to my school, but also to the community that's around me. And I really, really enjoy this, as it also taught me how to balance my time better while making sure that I am a good student, but also a good teacher to my students. Yeah.
Good. Thank you. I think lots of your peers are doing internship as well. Maybe
Yes.
Adina, you want to add on?
Yeah, so actually, like Caleb mentioned, he does a bit of like tutoring on the side. I also did that for a while, like part-time tutoring as a job. And well, I guess this relates back to like one of the questions that was asked just now about whether I feel insecure not having like a certification like until the end of 6 years. I guess the only sort of like minor issue that I had with that was when I was looking for like tutoring jobs, right? Then I couldn't say like, oh, I have O-level certs to like mention in my portfolio. I could just the only thing I could say was like, oh, I'm a year 5 student, a year 6 student at NUS High, and this is my cap, and you just have to take my word for it, right? So I guess that's the only issue. But regarding what I'm doing now with my time, I did apply for some internships. Like currently, I just applied for a research internship at A-Star, and I am choosing like what project I want to do with them for research. And yeah, last year I also did a similar research internship with A-Star. So I think when you get to like the higher years in NUS High, it becomes a lot more like self-directed. There's less core modules for you to do and less like formal things per se in school for you to do. So it's really more for you to go and explore what you like and really take the time to go and figure out what you want to do post NUS High. So for example, like it's really a time for you to go and figure out like what you want to do in uni, like what's your potential like career options, and that's also something that I've been focusing on more of recently. Yes.
Good. I think you're right that year 6, many of the students and alumni shared that they got a lot of time to think about their future. They don't have to worry about exams. So most of the A-level students think about the university choice only after A-level is over. For you, you actually can take longer time to think through and then write a proper statement and get it vetted when you're still a high school student. Maybe
So if I just add on something to that.
Sure.
So I think it's really like interesting that you mentioned how we get like a lot more freedom to think about what we want to do right now. And I think that it also gives us like a huge advantage, because if we figure out what we want to do earlier on, we can start aligning our activities towards achieving that goal rather than just studying and cramming for like standardized exams, because everybody comes out with the standardized exams with a very similar like kind of like portfolio, just your A-level cert. But then in NUS High, on top of your diploma, you can also like start on a lot of activities that will aid in your like portfolio earlier on. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Okay, the next question will be for James and Parvati. Okay, I think they're related. It's about your school routine, share about your school routine and how do you manage your time. Who wants to go first? How about James? Yeah, go to James.
Sure. I think our after school routine is really separated between things that have to do with school and things that have to do with our passion. So evidently, as mentioned by a lot of our students already, NUS High really requires a large amount of self leadership and being able to direct our own learning. So of course there will be some parts of doing homework for maybe 1 or 2 hours per day, depending on the subjects you take, depending on the modules you take. But of course, I feel that NUS High also provides a good opportunity to look at our own passion. So for example, reading up on certain areas of research that we may be interested for our ARPs during year 5 and 6. And of course, for some of other students that, as mentioned, that want to embark on certain internships, they also can start reading up on such things in order to be more aware of how to be more qualified for such positions.
Okay. Parvati, please add on.
Yeah, so I want to add on that because we do not every one of us here, we don't have the same schedule, we don't have the same school end timing, especially depending on if you take in electives, extra modules, honors, or maybe depending on your leadership roles or service roles. So for me, example, I mentioned that I am in the Atlas program. So some of the days we go to the Meet the People session, and I could be at the Meet the People session volunteering for around 4 hours straight. Maybe during my junior council years, I had to stay back to Saikang for like certain events or certain initiatives, packing stuff, getting ready for the next event, etc. Sometimes you go home early, which is like the best days, when you have the 2 p.m. Ending time, best days, and you go home, you chill, you have to make sure you get some time for yourself, and then usually it really depends. Like sometimes I do have hobbies, I do have extra co-curricular activities, outside school activities, so I take part in that, make sure I don't lose touch with those in midst of this high intensity syllabus. Yeah.
All right. Okay. Maybe some of you can share what's the most interesting module or lesson that you have encountered thus far. Yeah. A module or something that you learn that you think, wow, is this really something that is eye-opening, very different? Rachel?
I really like Da Vinci. I think yeah, in lower years, Da Vinci was like a compulsory module for us, and it was very fun because I remember it to be kind of like a miscellaneous like subject where we get to learn really everything. So I think there was one of the years where we made our own speaker, and I never really was like a computer science person, but then they taught us like the basics of Arduino, and then we could solder, and we could make like the hardware and the software. So I think that was really interesting, and I think it was really cool as I think year 2 student then to be able to solder, and also to be in a school that has resources to allow us to solder. So because of the small class size also, we could all fit into like the D&E lab. Then we could do like some engineering stuff. I think as a year 2 kid, it was really cool. And then later on in year 3 or the second semester of year 2, I think we also had some vendors come in to share about innovation and also just the whole innovative process, as well as some charity organizations who deal with engineering. So like the type of engineering that they do to help beneficiaries and things like that. So I think there was a lot of this kind of external talks also, which sometimes deals with like miscellaneous stuff, but I think was just a lot of good to know information, especially since some of my peers plan to go into engineering, or some of them even like business talks and things like that. So I think that was a very cool subject for me to have been part of in the lower years.
Thank you, Rachel. Yutong, how about your views about the most interesting module or lesson?
For me, my favorite subject, I think, is like my elective Japanese, because in Japanese we get we have like a teacher in school who teaches all the years of Japanese, and she has a lot of good connections as well. So we get to like have Zoom calls with Japanese students in Japan, or like send mail back and forth from them. So I find that very interesting. And the good thing is that our school has a lot of electives, so you can actually choose what you want to do. And then the electives, and mostly in the lower years, they're like very interesting enrichment modules and so on.
All right. Anyone want to add? Just raise your hand. Parvati?
Yeah, so I wanted to add on. I'm actually a humanities major. I major in geography, and that's kind of a rare amongst year 4 to 6 students. So I feel that my geography modules from year 2 and year 3 really helped me identify my interest in geography, environmental sciences, climate sciences, and I'm very happy with the decision I made to major in geography. So even though we are a maths and science school, our humanities modules, our arts and music modules are really interesting as well, and they even build your outside maths and science areas and allow you to explore your interests as well. So yeah, just wanted to add that. Thank
All
you.
right, thank you, Parvati. Anyone want to add on? We are exceeded the timing by 2 minutes, so I think just 1 or 2 more sharing and then we are done.
Honestly, I think like the most interesting for me was actually the year 1 and year 2 elective modules, like say chemical potpourri, things like that. Because after year 3, year 4, things start getting more serious. So I mean the elective Olympiad modules are fun but not fun also. But for year 1 and year 2, it's still quite a honeymoon period. You're just getting your feet in the school, you're understanding. And I mean, year 1 and year 2 cap is also not counted as part of the grad cap. So it's really a fantastic time to explore and understand what, like, just understand the science behind everything. So like, for example, chemical potpourri was really about learning the chemistry behind like many different types of things, like kitchen chemistry, making ice cream, these kind of things. So it's a really, really fun opportunity and a fun time for you to really deepen your understanding of science and like your love for science, because you really get to see the fun side of it as well, not just the theory. So I think for me that will be like the most exciting. Yeah.
I think there's one question about when do you sleep? People are interested to know when you sleep. By the laughter, it means that if the answer will not be politically correct, but please go ahead and tell truthfully your sleeping timing. Who want to start first? Give the average time or the worst time, up to you. Start with Caleb, I love the most.
Okay, so for myself, actually, to share a little bit, I'm staying in Sengkang, and it means that I have to travel 1.5 hours to school every day back and forth. So it means that I have to learn to prioritize that. But I try to, okay, based on my current workload, on average, I sleep about 5 hours a night, and I think it is pretty average in our level. Yeah.
Okay, who else want to share? Rachel? Rachel raised her hand.
Actually, at year 4, I'm sleeping like by 10, like latest 11 a night. But I think that's also because I don't take a lot of electives. Like I know some of my friends take a lot of electives, so their school day ends pretty late. But because I decided only to take one elective, which is Japanese. So I guess my school days aren't as long. So I think that's one of the, it's quite customizable, I would say. So I actually managed to keep a pretty healthy sleep schedule and sleep by like 10 or 11 almost nights out.
Okay, how about James?
I think, yeah, it really depends on the projects that we have on hand, and also depends on the electives that we take. But I think on average, it's normal to sleep at around 11. But at times when if you are doing or rushing projects that may have a late deadline that you have to just finish up on some work, it's, I think, like latest maybe 1. But I think again, at average, it's still around 11, which I think is still quite healthy for us at this age.
Okay, one final question is about how do you study at home? How? I think because we share that we don't follow the O-level syllabus, we don't really have textbook, so people are curious, no? Then how do you study? It's like mystery, no? Because a lot of question marks. They don't understand. James, since James is already online, yeah.
I think studying comes in two ways. So firstly, I think the books that have and the research papers that reference books that have been given to us are relatively helpful. For example, I believe that many of the bio students here will be very familiar with the name Campbell, and being able to refer to such books and having the curriculum somewhat based on the topics really helps us. However, I think there's also, as previously mentioned, a culture of sharing notes with each other, and I feel that these notes that have been shared throughout the years have also been a very helpful resource in order to help us learn some of the harder topics that we may not have gotten in class.
All right. What about Vin?
I mean, for me, I'll be very honest. I have not bought a single one of the reference books that was recommended by the school because for me, I really found the notes provided by the school quite sufficient because they actually go quite in depth, and yet they are not like verbiage where it's simply incomprehensible. It's like a good blend of enough information and yet a good summary. So most of the people, most of my friends will occasionally ask me if I have the reference book, and I will tell them that no, I don't, because I've never bought them. So it really depends. A lot of times, like it really depends on whether you feel the need to have the reference book or not. And also, I mean, studying at home really involves you sitting down in a fairly conducive environment and actually getting the work done. And I also like to say that our teachers at school are pretty supportive and encouraging. So if you do not understand anything, it's very easy for you to go back in class the next day or whenever class is next to ask the teachers about any misconceptions or questions you have, and they will answer it. So yeah.
All right. I think that's the time that we have. We exceeded by about less than 10 minutes. So we must keep to the discipline. So I'm afraid this is all we have. If you have more questions, you can just type in, and then we'll be staying a bit more to answer the questions by writing form. And we hope to see you in person, hopefully in October when we give the Newton Fun Camp and the preview, and the COVID situation will allow you to come to our school. Let's hope so. We are optimistic about that. And if that's so, definitely you have time and opportunity to see all these students who are student leaders and our students who will be volunteering to run all the preview and help out in all these things, right? Then you can have one more chance to talk to them face to face before you make a decision for which school is suitable for you or for your child. Right, with that, thank you. Thanks for sharing, staying with us all this afternoon, and have a nice afternoon. Thank you. And thanks to students for volunteering and helping out in this program and this open house. Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.